Imagine this. You walk into an empty house in London. It's eerily quiet. Then you discover a body. No visible wounds, nothing obvious. But scrawled in blood on the wall is a single chilling word. Rye.
Wow.
What would you do? I mean, how would you even begin to unravel a scene like that?
Well, that unsettling scenario is precisely where Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's A Study in Scarlet just thrusts its readers.
Right into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Published way back in 1887, this foundational book didn't just introduce the world to, the legendary partnership of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson. It fundamentally changed how detective stories were told. It set a whole new benchmark for intellectual rigor and dramatic narrative.
And what you're hearing right now, just so you know, is a unique two-host conversation. It's powered by Google's NotebookLM, which lets us go even deeper, get more dynamic with this book analysis.
Yeah, it's a great tool for this.
So today we're embarking on a deep dive into this groundbreaking book. We'll explore its, revolutionary approach to crime solving, its compelling characters.
And those surprising, maybe even controversial themes that honestly still resonate over a century later.
Definitely. Our mission is to understand why it's not just a classic mystery, but really a masterclass in narrative innovation and, I think, profound social commentary, too.
So let's unpack this. We should probably start right at the very beginning of that legendary partnership.
Makes sense.
We first meet Dr. John Watson. He's back in London, wounded, not in great health after the Second Afghan War.
Right, looking for cheap lodging.
Exactly. Searching for affordable lodging. And through an old acquaintance, a guy named Stamford, he gets introduced to Sherlock Holmes.
And when Watson first meets Holmes at, the now iconic 221B Baker Street, it's almost immediately clear he's dealing with a mind unlike any other.
Oh, absolutely.
I always find it striking that Watson notes Holmes's knowledge of literature is nil, just nil.
Yeah.
For someone so obviously brilliant, that seems almost counterintuitive, doesn't it? What do you think that particular detail tells us about the nature of Holmes's genius?
Well, I think it instantly signals that Holmes is a new breed of intellectual. He's not some classical scholar or, a generalist.
Right.
He's a pure empiricist.
Mm-hmm.
His mind is rigorously curated just for practical observation and logical deduction.
Right.
That nil isn't really a flaw. It just emphasizes his laser-like focus. He's a true product of the scientific age he embodies.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And Watson, he's not just a sidekick here, is he?
Not at all. He's crucial. He serves as the narrator, the chronicler, and really the intellectual foil. This allows you, the listener, to experience Holmes's extraordinary deductive abilities through a relatable kind of rational lens. You're learning right alongside Watson, often just as bewildered.
Until Holmes pulls it all together.
Exactly, until Holmes brilliantly illuminates the path.
So their first joint case kicks off pretty quickly. Inspector Lestrade calls Holmes to this mysterious murder scene on Brixton Road. The victim, Enoch Drebber, found dead in an empty house, no visible wounds. And the chilling detail, of course, is Ray, German for revenge, written in blood on the wall.
And here's where Holmes' genius just shines right away. He doesn't just see Reiki as a clue.
He sees it as
an anti-clue. It's a deliberate trap, right? A psychological smokescreen designed to mislead.
Okay. So not just the meaning of the word.
No, it's not just about translating it. It's about understanding the criminal's intent, recognizing that the most obvious answer is often the deepest deception. That's a level of meta-analysis that was, virtually unheard of in detective fiction back then.
It's revolutionary. The book establishes Holmes as the world's first consulting detective, basically a professional whose expertise you can hire.
Right.
And we see him use these groundbreaking methods right from the start, meticulously examining footprints, analyzing blood,
Bank TLZ.
and deducing the murderer's physical characteristics based on the tiniest clues, the length of their stride, the specific type of ash from their cigar, the mud on their boots.
And this was a truly radical departure for detective fiction at the time. I mean, up until then, solutions often hinged on, unlikely coincidences or maybe a sudden confession.
Right, pure luck sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. But here, Doyle presented a meticulously reasoned process. You can see the logic unfold, almost like a scientific experiment.
You follow along.
Yeah. This emphasis on physical evidence and systematic logical reasoning became a hallmark of the genre. It fundamentally shifted it from sort of parlor games to genuine intellectual puzzles.
The plot thickens pretty fast, though. Drebber's secretary, Joseph Stangerson, he becomes a suspect. And then he's soon found murdered, too, in his hotel room. Stabbed through the heart this time.
And Holmes then performs this really ingenious test with those 2 pills found at the scene.
Oh, the dog.
testing them on poor Mrs. Hudson's dog, discovering one is poisonous. It's a truly chilling detail, isn't it? And maybe a bit morally ambiguous.
Definitely raises questions. And this leads to him using the Baker Street Irregulars, right?
Yeah.
His network of street kids.
Absolutely. A network of street informants led by a boy named Wiggins. They're essential to Holmes's information gathering, his eyes and ears on the street.
Right. And the dramatic climax of this first part. Holmes tricking Jefferson Hope, who's working as a cabbie, into their flat and capturing him, revealing him as the perpetrator of both murders. This initial London mystery sets such a compelling stage. For you, what's the single most revolutionary element Holmes introduces here? Is it purely his method or something deeper about his character?
That's a good question. For me, I think it's the combination. It's his cold, clinical method combined with this almost theatrical flair for trapping his prey.
The performance aspect.
Yeah. He's not just gathering facts, he's crafting this elaborate psychological net. This first half truly showcases Holmes's revolutionary approach and leaves us hanging on that crucial question. Why?
Exactly. Why did Jefferson Hope commit these brutal acts?
What drove him to it?
We're about to dive into that really shocking backstory, but first, just a quick note. If you're enjoying this deep dive, you'll find even more thought-provoking discussions and analysis on our Mindful Moments YouTube channel. It offers AI book analysis designed to inspire reflection and, rational thought.
Definitely worth checking out.
So now, let's travel back in time.
Okay, so we've seen Holmes's brilliant, meticulous deduction in the foggy streets of London. But just when you think you're settling into a classic mystery,
Doyle pulls the rug out.
He totally pulls a literary shocker. The narrative suddenly rips you out of Victorian England and drops you, pretty much without warning, into the vast, unforgiving landscape of 1840s Utah.
It's jarring.
It really is. This isn't just a flashback. It's a complete shift in perspective, a really bold narrative gamble that, honestly, few mystery writers would ever dare.
Especially back then.
Right. All to answer that burning question. Why did he do it?
It's a jarring but incredibly effective transition, I think. Here we encounter the tragic backstory of John Ferrier and young Lucy. They're the sole survivors of a pioneer group.
Lost in the desert.
Exactly. They're rescued by Mormons led by Brigham Young, but there's a catch.
A condition.
Only on the condition that they convert to the Mormon faith. This immediately sets the stage for a dramatic clash of values and beliefs, and it really highlights the desperation of their situation.
And then years pass. The now-grown Lucy falls deeply in love with Jefferson Hope.
Our killer from London.
The very same. He's a non-Mormon hunter and prospector. However, Brigham Young explicitly forbids their marriage. He demands Lucy choose between two Mormon suitors instead.
And those suitors are?
Joseph Stangerson or Enoch Drebber.
The victims from London.
Precisely. Both sons of powerful church council members. This is where the personal becomes intensely political, where individual desire clashes violently with institutional decree.
Ferrier, Lucy's adoptive father, he's vehemently opposed his daughter marrying into polygamy. Understandably. So he contacts Hope, and they hatch an escape plan. They make this desperate attempt to flee Salt Lake City under cover of darkness.
It's incredibly risky.
Totally. But while Hope is out hunting for food, Mormon pursuers capture Lucy and brutally kill Ferrier, a horrific consequence of their defiance.
It's absolutely brutal. And Lucy, she's tragically forced to marry Drebber. She dies within a month, essentially from a broken heart.
Just devastating.
Yeah, a poignant testament to the power of despair and really a life consumed by grief. Her story becomes this powerful symbol of the extreme lack of agency women could experience within rigid societal structures, particularly when religious authority was absolute.
And this is where Hope's unwavering resolve for vengeance truly ignites. He's overcome by grief.
Understandably.
He sneaks back into the city just to kiss her goodbye and steals her wedding ring. It's the small, tangible link to the love he lost.
A symbol of his quest.
He swears vengeance against those responsible for her death, Drebber and Stangerson. It's a promise that drives him for decades.
And he spends over 20 relentless years tracking them across America, across Europe.
Just hunting them.
Before finally finding them in London. As a cabbie, Hope corners Drebber, and he forces him to choose between those two pills.
The pills from the crime scene.
The same ones. One poisonous, one harmless. It's a form of twisted, self-appointed divine justice.
Mirroring the choice Lucy was forced into.
Exactly. Mirroring the life and death choices forced upon Lucy. It's this chilling inversion of fate, putting his victims in the very position of powerlessness that Lucy endured.
And the intense excitement of finally getting his revenge actually triggers Hope's pre-existing aneurysm,
Right then and there.
causing him to write Ruchi in his own blood on the wall as his last triumphant act before he collapses.
And as for Stangerson,
Well, Hope stabs him later in self-defense when Stangerson confronts him in his hotel room. It's another fateful encounter that feels like an almost inevitable consequence of this relentless pursuit.
what's fascinating here is the ultimate price, right? Hope dies from his aneurysm the night before his trial.
So he never faces legal justice.
Never. He achieves his revenge, but pays with his own life. This raises a really important question, I think. What does this tell us about the nature of justice? Is it truly served when one man takes the law into his own hands, even after experiencing such profound suffering?
Yeah, the book definitely refuses to give us an easy answer there.
Not at all.
And this leads us nicely into a deeper dive into the enduring themes, the innovation, and the lasting legacy of A Study in Scarlet.
Okay.
The central theme is undoubtedly revenge and justice. The book intricately weaves what Doyle himself describes as the scarlet thread of murder running through the colorless skein of life.
That's such a famous line. And it really gets to the heart of it. The fundamental question posed is whether personal vengeance has a place in a civilized society.
Right.
The book really contrasts the, quote, lawless frontier where Hope's quest begins with the ordered Victorian London where it finally concludes. And that creates these profound moral ambiguities for you, the listener, to ponder.
It forces you to confront it, doesn't it? Because while Hope's actions are objectively horrific,
They are.
given the extreme injustice he and Lucy faced, you can't help but feel maybe a flicker of understanding for his motivation. It really challenges your own moral compass on what constitutes justice, especially when the official system seems to fail.
Absolutely. It complicates everything.
And then there's the methodological innovation that just changed everything in detective fiction. We hear Holmes declare that famous line, "When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth."
Iconic. That one line defined a genre and really set the standard for detective work going forward.
Think about that for a second. This book is also where the magnifying glass makes its first appearance in detective fiction.
Right. Symbolizing this new emphasis on careful attention to physical evidence. Before Holmes, detectives were often, well, kind of bumbling.
Relying on luck or confessions.
Yeah, sheer luck. Suddenly, you have this sharp scientific mind literally bending over a crime scene with a magnifying glass, turning tiny specks of dust or fibers into undeniable proof.
It's not just a tool.
It's a symbol of a paradigm shift in how we approach truth-finding. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not just visual clues. Written clues are everywhere, from rate sheet to telegrams.
Sure.
Plus, you have those pervasive motifs of disguise, deception, pills, poison, all contributing to this meticulously crafted mystery.
Now, we should also address that A Study in Scarlet isn't without its controversies. Its depiction of Mormonism, particularly in the Utah section, is quite contentious.
Very much so. It combines some accurate, or at least historically debated elements, like the Danites, a supposed vigilante group sometimes associated with early Mormonism, and the theological concept of blood atonement.
Which was itself complex and debated.
Right. It mixed those with sensationalized fiction, reflecting what was pretty widespread anti-Mormon sentiment in Victorian England at the time.
It's really important to state here that the book's aim, as we interpret it, was likely to convey the attitudes and source material available then, not necessarily to endorse those specific viewpoints as factual or fair.
Precisely. And this also connects to that broader theme of individual freedom versus religious authority. The book clearly explores how religious authority, or any powerful institution really, can exercise cruel control over personal liberty.
Especially concerning marriage and dissent.
Exactly. As starkly seen through Lucy's profound powerlessness, she's essentially a pawn in a much larger power struggle.
It also seems to reflect some common Victorian anxieties, doesn't it? About foreign influence, maybe, and urban crime?
Yeah, I think so. The fact that the murderer and victims are all Americans, for instance, might have subtly relieved fears that British citizens were the culprits, shifting the blame to these, external forces.
Interesting point. And the examination of gender and social roles is notable too, illustrating how women often became pawns, their destinies dictated by men and institutions. It gives us a fascinating, albeit sometimes troubling, window into those societal structures of the era.
Definitely. Now, looking at the narrative structure itself, it was revolutionary for its time. Part 1 is the London mystery. experienced through Watson's first-person eyes, keeping you immersed in the immediate puzzle.
You're right there with him.
Then Part 2 shifts dramatically to that third-person omniscient narration for the extensive Utah backstory. This bold decision demonstrated a really sophisticated storytelling ambition, prioritizing the why of the crime just as much as the who.
It truly set the foundation for modern detective fiction. It established the template for scientific methodology in crime solving.
And that influenced not just literature, but real-world criminal investigation, too.
Yeah. The whole consulting detective concept birthed an archetype that continues to shape crime fiction even today. You see it everywhere.
From forensic procedurals on TV to modern psychological thrillers. Yeah. And of course, the Holmes-Watson partnership. Well, it became literature's most famous detective duo.
Unquestionably. Inspiring countless adaptations, from silent films right up to modern television series.
And those forensic science elements we mentioned, physical evidence analysis, chemical testing, logical deduction, they were pioneering at the time, but they quickly became standard in criminal investigation, both real and fictional.
The book's educational and cultural impact also continues, It's included in literature curricula worldwide, and its themes of justice, observation, and moral complexity remain incredibly relevant to contemporary audiences.
Even despite the ongoing controversy around its portrayal of certain historical events, it's a constant subject of debate and reevaluation, which keeps it alive.
So, what does this all mean in the end? A Study in Scarlet isn't just a fascinating story, it's really a foundational text.
Absolutely.
It successfully balances gripping mystery with compelling character development and sharp social commentary, setting patterns that continue to define the detective genre more than a century after its publication.
It shows us how understanding the past, even the controversial parts, can illuminate the present and maybe shape the future of storytelling.
Which raises an important question, I think, for all of us. In our own lives, how often do we mistake initial impressions or, surface details for the whole truth? How often do we miss the complex, maybe decades-long backstory that truly explains why things are the way they are?
That's a great closing thought. It challenges us to look deeper, always.
For more thought-provoking discussions like this and in-depth analyses, be sure to check out Mindful Moments on our YouTube channel.
And explore our podcasts for other deep dives, too.
Click the link on screen for the in-depth book analysis, subscribe, share, purchase via link, and, as always, think critically.